Welcome to media availability with Chicago Steel head coach Brock Sheahan, prepping for the 2021 Clark Cup final between the Chicago Steel and Fargo Force. A couple of notes beforehand, just to match up notes. Chicago enters with a regular season record of 38-11-3-2, 81 points through the regular season. Anderson Cup champions, the number one overall seed in the USHL, led the USHL with 4.92 goals per game. The Steel defeated the Dubuque Fighting Saints 2-0 in the Eastern Conference semis, and then swept the Muskegon Lumberjacks 2-0 in the Eastern Conference final. Fargo entered the playoffs as the number 4 seed in the West with a 30-21-1-0 record, 63 points in the Western Conference. They beat Tri-City, who was the number 1 seed, 2-1 in the Western Conference semis, and then beat Sioux City 2-0 in the best of 3 Western Conference final. The schedule for the Clark Cup final is as follows. Games 1 and 2, Friday and Saturday, May 14th and 15th at Fox Valley Ice Arena, both at 7:05 p.m. Games 3 and then 4, if necessary, Friday and Saturday, May 21st and 22nd at Shields Arena in Fargo, North Dakota. That would be Game 3 at 7:05. Game 4, if necessary, would be at 6:05, all times Central. Game 5, if necessary, would be contested Tuesday, May 25th, back at Fox Valley Ice Arena at 7:05 p.m. Central Time. Tickets are still available at chicagosteelhockeyteam.com or by calling 855-51-STEEL. So with that, we will open it up to questions with Chicago Steel head coach Brock Sheahan. First up, we've got Brandon Kane. Brandon, your mic is active whenever you're ready.
Hey, Brock. What does this mean to the team to actually get this chance this year after last year getting the Anderson Cup and then not having that playoff run?
Yeah, I do view both teams as separate teams. I think for the guys that were here last year, it's a little extra special after the season ending so abruptly. But I think just with the current climate, the current situation in life in general, we're so fortunate to be still playing hockey. We were fortunate to have a season. So I think the guys are pretty cognizant of that and are well aware that we're really lucky to have had a season. And I give the guys all the credit in the world with the way they've approached each day this year. So hopefully we can keep it going into Friday.
All right, we've got our next question here from Ryan Kennedy. Ryan, your mic is active. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Brock. You have a lot of talent on this team, as you did last year. And obviously players have to take on different roles, but what sort of challenge has that been for you as a coach, just to make sure that, the team is sort of, constructed in a way that everybody kind of gets their chance, but at the same time, you're obviously trying to win a championship here.
Yeah, I think that the way we approach things here in Chicago is development is the most important thing. That's especially the individual development of players. So there are times during the year where maybe we play our roster a little bit differently than you would traditionally think. But in the end, I think it helps the team. Our players, I think, get better and better as individuals, which helps the team get better. And then we kind of shift this as we get closer to the end of the season. As the last 10 games of the year, we start to focus a little bit more on the team. We still have the individual development with video and on-ice development, but, becomes more parallel lines of individual development and team development. And I think you can see how that's helped us get to this point this year.
All right, so our next question is going to come from Ryan Wagman. Ryan, I believe your mic is active now. Go ahead.
Hi, Brock. What is the status of Jack Barr for the final round?
Yeah, he's getting better. He dressed in the Friday game versus Muskegon, but he played a couple of shifts. He will practice today, so we're hopeful to have him for Friday.
Was he injured prior to Friday, or was it something that happened on Friday?
It was something that happened to him in the Dubuque series. he battled through in the Saturday game, game 2 against Dubuque, and then did a lot of work with our trainer Jim Schroeder to try to get back for the Muskegon series. Nothing too serious, just was unable to play at the level he's capable of. So we have a lot of depth in our organization, and felt it made sense to not play him in the game 2 against Muskegon, and I'm hopeful he'll be able to be an impactful player for us in this series.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Mike Morial. Mike, your microphone is active. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for doing this, and good luck. I'm curious to get your thoughts on how Coronado and Samoskevich each improved as the season progressed.
Yeah, we've had Matt Coronado and Mackie Samoskevich as a part of the organization for like 3 years now. They were with us with our Clark Cup run during different points of the year as affiliate players. Mackie actually spent some time with us during that playoff series, and then obviously with us last year as full-time players and rookies. I think if you look at their development, Matt Coronado, he's got an unbelievable motor and compete level to go with his skill set, but I think he's not just a goal scorer, not just a guy that can beat you wide. He's a complete forward. He's really good off the puck. And then he's really added the ability to make plays and use his teammates. And then I think that for Mackie, I thought last year at the end of the year with all the elite players we have, I thought Mackie was our best forward in the last couple of weeks of the year, even though he was a first-year player. And then this year, I think that his start was a little bit slower than he had anticipated. I think he was just trying to do a little bit too much. I think if you've watched him over the end of the season since he's been back from injury, it's just consistency in his game. I think that he's playing hard off the puck. I think his details without the puck, offensively and defensively, are making him more dynamic. And then I feel like he's not just a one-on-one player. He's making a lot of plays, as you can see by the production he's had in this playoff run so far.
Thanks for that, Brock. And I'm just curious, just as a follow-up, I don't think some fans realize how hard it is to score 48 goals in this league. What kind of an accomplishment is that in your eyes?
Yeah, sorry, you cut out. You talking about the 48 goals by Coronado?
By Coronado. Like, what kind of accomplishment is that in your eyes to score 48 goals?
It's unbelievable, to be quite honest. Like, it's so hard to score in this league. It's as close to college hockey as you're going to get. There's teams play really hard. It's a physical league. Just look at historically how many guys have scored at that level. And we actually sat Matt out one of the last 2 games. I asked him if he wanted to go for 50, and he felt, as he's such a team guy, he's like, I think I could use the rest and be ready to go for a playoff run. So I think he could have got to 50 if we played him in the last 2. But, it shows the kind of character kid he is. But to have consistency to be able to score at that rate in this league, it's few and far between.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach.
All right. We've got another one from Ryan Kennedy. Ryan, your mic is active. Go ahead.
Thanks. Just wondering about the progression you've seen from Josh Doan during his time in Chicago.
Yeah, I think that it's something as a staff that we saw when he was drafted, when Ryan Hardy drafted him as a little kid. Basically, he was I don't know, man, he might have been like 5'8" or something like that when he was drafted. And then last year, when he was a part of our organization full time, there was a plan in place for him not to play every game, for him to work off ice on his body. He has literally grown. I think he was like 5'10" the start of last year. He's like 6'2". He's growing this year. I don't think he was 6'2" when he got here. If I took a look at like his body comp profile from the start of the year. So that alone has made a difference, but just the work he's done in his skating, the work he's done in the weight room, we knew that he's a high level thinker offensively and defensively. And I know that we were telling NHL teams last year to draft him in the 7th round because he wasn't even close to being what he's going to be. And I still, to be quite honest, I don't think he's even close to what he's going to be. Like, he's still not physically developed. He's 180 pounds. He's going to play whatever 3 years from now as a professional hockey player, over 200 pounds is my guess, so just where he's at physically, and then you put in the competitiveness and then his ability to think the game offensively and defensively, I think that his potential is actually, he's not even close to that level. It's almost limitless in a lot of ways.
All right, our next question comes from Brandon Kane. Brandon, mic is active. Go ahead.
Brock, going back to Mackey, how much do you think his family and his sisters playing in the game and that kind of dynamic has impacted his development these past 2 years? It's
a huge part of his development as a player and a person. I know he's so close with his sisters. His family's great. His parents are unbelievable, and shows in the type of kid that he is. Like, he's a pleasure to have around the rink, and he pushes to add pieces and get better. Like he I'd say, like, has a deliberate practice approach to each day when he's on the ice. He is working to add pieces to his game, and I think having his sisters play at such a high level and see that example in front of him has pushed him to continue to get better and better.
And what have you seen from Ryan down the stretch here as he has gone through the playoffs?
Buffco?
Yeah.
I think that he's upped his level even more. I think he's the best defenseman, complete defenseman in the league. There's some people that have maybe had like a knock on his skating. I think it's gotten better and better, and as he physically matures, it's going to continue to get better and better. But he might be, maybe outside of Owen Power, the smartest D that we've had here. Jimmy Dowd is a genius hockey player as well, but the way he thinks offensively and defensively, and like, he's not, you look at the numbers he's put up all year, it doesn't sacrifice defense. He plays hard, he competes, he's cognizant off the puck, but he's able to impact the game when it's on his stick as well. In a lot of ways, he controls the game back there.
All right, we've got time for one more. It's going to come from Ryan Wagman. Ryan, your mic is active. Go ahead.
Thanks. Brock, has there been any additional challenge this year in reintegrating guys like Jackson Blake and Lucas Gustafsson, who went mid-season to high school and then came back?
Yeah, with Gustafsson and Blaker leaving, those are the things that we knew were going to happen during the year. So we were ready for them. I think it's always difficult. Like, Jackson had an unbelievable Minnesota high school season, winning the championship. Obviously, limited games for Lucas at Cushing, but I do feel like we stay in touch with our players. Like, they understand how we want to play. There's a lot of work through Zoom and whatnot, but with guys like that, they're extremely talented. With Blaker coming back, it was just a little bit different style of play that he's had to adjust to. And to be quite honest, I've been really, really pleased with the approach he's had in these playoff games. He's such a high level. He might be one of the most skilled, like, individual puck skills that we've had here. And sometimes that can get you into trouble in a playoff game when you're trying to one-on-one guys. But I feel like he's been very cognizant, situational awareness, when to make plays, when the right play is to make. And he's actually generated a lot. He hasn't shown up on the score sheet yet, but he's done a lot of good things for us. And it hasn't been as difficult to reintroduce those guys as I thought it would be.